The reason of this meeting is we are going to have this on a regular basis. I mean, we didn't try to get more people join. I mean, whoever wanted to join, because this is something, a pure quest for understanding and knowledge of art. It's no other purpose. So every week we shall be picking up four classic artworks. I mean, it will be spanning from prehistoric age to today's world, that is very contemporary stuff, and shall try to understand what they tried to do, why these are famous. These are famous for some stupid reason, or these are famous that they have some worth. Not necessarily that a famous artwork needs to be a good artwork as well. So today we shall be taking up four artworks. One is the oldest sculpture in human history that was found, Venus of Willendorf. One second, I what I do is I share the just one by one. Just a second. Dorf is one of them. We would like to understand what it is. Then we shall discuss and try to understand what is the significance of bit by Jeff Koons. I mean, that is interesting that Venus of Willendorf is 25,000 year old, and Jeff Koons' rabbit sold, I mean, it was auctioned at some $19.2 million.
91,
In
91, 91,
Pardon? 91.
91, 91, yes.
91 million dollar.
Yeah, yeah.
I see, $91 million in 2019, right, Rohan?
2000, I don't remember the time, but it's
Okay,
91 million.
2019, I guess, just a couple of years ago. So it is very recent. Then we shall explore the mystery of this painting as well, of Caravaggio, which is a 16th century artist, the lute player. It has a lot of mystery inside it. And of course,
Guernica.
we talk about, one second, it is hidden somewhere, Guernica. Also, we talk about Guernica. We discuss and try to understand why Guernica of Picasso is so famous. What was it in it? Okay, so we start with Venus of Willendorf. One second. Close it. Yes. So I start with Venus of Willendorf. I just say a couple of words here. I stop it. Okay. It's visible, right? This is the oldest sculpture that was found. Oldest sculpture. It was discovered in 1908, I think, but it is 25,000 year old. A sculpture, and before, I mean, there is no sculpture found older than this. Now, what I gathered, of course, one is its antiquity, which makes it so special, and the other part is an irony. They call it Venus of Willendorf, and that is, I know that's very funny, because I'm just speaking out what I find strange about it, because the idea of Venus is much younger than this sculpture. The idea of Venus, I mean, who knew 25,000 years ago what they worshipped, what they valued, and whom they sculpted? We don't know. And we actually don't know why this sculpture was made. Uh, was it an embodiment of a goddess they worshipped? Was it an embodiment of maybe some leader or something, group leader, or somebody who was a woman? It was her image, or what is it? We don't know. But this sculpture is apparently explained in the light of today's perspective, or not today's perspective. Yeah, today's perspective of what we know of what we imagine of the ancient world. That is this, to some extent, that in the ancient world, in the hunter gatherer days, men killed, men destroyed things. Men killed, they went hunting, they killed animals, so they largely destroyed. And the and people, I mean, human beings were Homo sapiens were rather surprised at one thing, that the ground breaks and a sprout comes out. And similarly, a woman gives birth to a child. So one thing men could not do was create, whereas women created and ground created. So the creation was a magic, was a huge magic, and hence a divine manifestation of some happening. So the ability to produce was a kind of a divine quality of a woman. So that is a quality which was supposedly worshipped. Now we don't know really. We don't know what used to happen 25,000 years ago. So these are hypotheses, or things which historians have kind of built up and imagined with some degree of logic and some evidences, etc. So, but that also doesn't go back to 25,000 years ago. This much we know of hunter-gatherer days. Now, this is way beyond that. This culture is far older than that. So, this idea that we have of, let's say, 6,000-7,000 years ago, the human society of 6,000-7,000 years, this is applied. This has been applied on a sculpture which has been made 25,000 years ago, and it has been named Venus. So Venus, the goddess of, goddess of creation, and yeah, that is it. So this is how it is called. And now another curious thing is, this seems to be a very fat woman, right? It's a very fat lady. Now, unlike today's world, where these zero sizes, etc., are in vogue, unlike today, in the earlier ancient time, in fact, even these days, in many tribal societies, um, plumpness or more fat is seen as a sign of productivity in women. So generally, heavier women are kind of considered to be fertile, like that way. So they can produce. So this is the reason. Apparently, we don't know. This is the reason. It is thought that this sculpture symbolizes the thinking of human beings those days, thinking of human beings those days, that fertility was to be worshipped. So little bigger woman had been sculpted. I mean, this is what I could gather about this sculpture. Now, anybody else, please speak up, and you can talk.
Well, it is. I think carbon dating puts the sculpture somewhere between 28,000 years and 25,000 years, somewhere between that period.
Yes,
Some interesting things about the sculpture are that it does not have feet. The sculpture
it
does not
doesn't have
have
feet.
feet.
Correct,
So,
correct.
it is supposed to be. It was made to be held in the hand, or carried in pockets. This is what they are deducing. The anthropologists are deducing out of the sculpture as it uh, as 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 it appears to them. Also, there is I think there is a certain emphasis on the heaviness of the body, as Saikat rightly pointed out. And this is also something we retrospectively impose on uh, prehistoric objects, that heaviness or wide hips were more desirable. Hence, uh, today when we look at the Venus of Willendorf, we impose on the Venus of Willendorf that the name Venus. At the same time, the we assume that it must have been a fertility symbol of the day. Also, something more interesting is that 80 sculptures were found along with Venus. This particular sculpture, 80 were found by the anthropologists in Austria, where the town of Willendorf is there, where the sculpture was found, and all of them are of women. All of them are of women,
Mm.
and all of them are nudes. So whether whether it was meant to be worshipped, or whether it was representation of the the ideal of the day,
Yeah.
is a big question. And why only women? I mean, we can looking at the time period, we can assume that it was a matriarchal society, where women dominated.
Yes. Probably so.
So,
Yes.
it's very much possible that these are representatives of either gods or the ideal of the dominant ruler, or maybe it was part of mating ritual. We don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah, but also something to be observed on the sculpture is that the hands are very tiny. So there is a sort of hyper exaggeration of the body, and the face is not at all there.
The face is not there.
It's,
It's covered with something. Yeah.
yeah. So some anthropologists believe that it's a cap. Some believe that it is braided hair.
Yeah, but all
And-
sides.
Yeah, all sides. Maybe it was a style of working
You see?
back in the day. Yeah. I mean, even if you're wearing a cap, you won't wear a cap like that, will you?
Yeah.
So
Well, I don't think there is a lot can be discussed on this, but then it is curious that. But you see, even this is far older than our Mohenjo-daro sculpture, right? It's far older than that. Yeah. Another thing is, it doesn't have feet, but it can't be pocket because there was no clothes those days. It must be maybe it was stuck on the ground or something. That's why those maybe the feet was below the ground. I mean, it was just stabbed on the ground and it stood like that soft ground or something. Who knows? Anyhow, Radhika ji, you want to say something on this sculpture? You are muted, I think. One second. You are muted.
Okay.
Yeah.
These are just my personal feelings from the little that I have read, is that the male domination is very apparent from the fact that the women's hands are tied behind.
That's interesting.
And that shows that the woman did not have any power even in those bygone days. And she was a figure of being lusted for, and it has not changed much even today. And it's irrespective of the fact, no matter how old a woman would be.
Oh, that's a very unique perspective. Rohan, मैं तो कहीं नहीं देखा ये. I was just reading about this sculpture. Very unique perspective you said. Yeah, please go on. I'm excited actually.
I'm doing a study on the Rig Vedas. Okay. And in the Rig Vedas, the basic concept was the Rig Vedas were written by rishis. Okay. Yes. And now at that time, they decided to appeal to gods, because gods at that time only wanted to communicate with learned people. So
Hmm.
what was it that the rishis asked the gods? They asked for the basic needs of human being.
Right.
So if the basic needs of human beings have not changed since the Rig Vedas was written, so at
Yeah.
that time, when the Guru Gita was written between, and the samvad that if you have ever gone through between Shiva and Parvati,
Yeah.
okay, Shiva
Yeah.
has definitely bowed down to the knowledge of Parvati and her skill of, what do I say, her communication, but still the fact that the woman is still not the dominant factor still unfortunately remains. And
Yes.
it's showing even in our sculptures. Why is it that through the art books that I have seen, why is it there are more women that are painted than men are painted? Why are women beggar children painted more than men, boys being painted? Think about it. Because there is that male domination over women domination.
No,
Hmm.
here I think we are assuming that the sculptors were men. I mean, they may have been, they may not have been. You know,
Yeah.
because yeah. So because there was an archaeological find. I was reading somewhere about this. There is a bone on which 28 days are marked. Okay,
Yes. Huh.
and the common belief about that archaeological find is that it is made by a man to mark the days of the month.
Mm-hmm.
However, recently they have started believing that no, it is not the man marking the days of the month. It is the
Mm-hmm.
woman marking the days of the month.
Okay.
As 28 days relates to the the bodily cycle.
Yes.
So I think retrospectively we there is always a possibility to err. Also, even in assuming we are talking about a woman dominated society or a matriarchal society,
Mm-hmm.
uh, how are we to say that women uh, the women will not be the muse, women will not be the object of inspiration, or the the same criteria for desirability
Women
will
are
not be
always,
there.
I'm telling you, I can give it to you in writing. Women are always going to be the muse, no matter what. 2000 years from now, also, it will be the woman who will be the attraction point.
Well,
So
here
exactly that.
at this point, let me put in one thing. When, yeah, when
But
it
it's
comes,
okay, because it happens, like women have curves. Women's have physically, they have been made more beautiful than man.
Very
Okay.
aesthetic, very aesthetically
Very
yeah,
pleasing.
aesthetically, women have been made like that, so let's accept that fact. There's no competition in that.
no,
So that's why women get drawn more often. Women have a better voice tone, and naturally, a woman is looked, of course, a woman is only looked, like whenever, if you see Durga, goddess Durga being drawn, what is drawn of her? It is her powerful eyes and the strength, right?
Mhm.
So
yes,
that all comes in that, under the ambit of woman being a muse.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
long as artists have something to draw, it is fine. I would leave it at that.
yeah. I just want to mention one thing. If we look at the sculptures
True.
in the West, so far, I mean, a lot of sculptures. Majority of them are men, not women. Most sculptures are of men's
Of men?
figures, not women.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I stand corrected. Okay.
Yeah. Now there is then when it comes to Muse, I also would like to point out here the reasons. I think why say sculptures during the Renaissance or the Renaissance onwards, actually after after the Greek sculptures disappeared anyway, those were demolished later after Christianity came. So the sculptures onwards after that through Renaissance, those were most of them were of men, also because the those who sculpted were men, and homosexuality was rampant, and the
Yes.
muse were men.
Right. True. True.
Like for instance, if you take Michelangelo,
Yeah.
or even Leonardo, if you take Leonardo, there too, Salai keeps appearing in most of his artworks, and
Yes.
Salai was a boy whom he
His apprentice.
had an inspiration from. So anyway, I mean, what you said, Radhika ji, that I fully agree. But and this point is very interesting. Despite the fact, it's very interesting that despite the fact that um, fertility was being worshipped, women were being worshipped. In fact, ground was being worshipped. Supposedly, despite that fact, the hands were tightly bound. That's
No,
interesting.
hands are not bound. Hands are not bound. Look at the
Oh, I
sculpture
mean,
again.
hands are kind of tied as if you see the hands are behind. If I
No.
share again,
Hands are on top of the breast. There is a very thin hands, very tiny hands.
let me see.
They are on top of the breast. Yeah,
Let us see once again.
they are not bound.
Ah, okay,
Those
okay,
are the
okay, okay,
hands.
okay, okay, okay. I felt the hands are at the back or something.
No.
Okay, yeah, correct, correct. You said as you said,
Correct.
yeah,
You're right. You're right. Huh.
I
We
missed
stand
it.
corrected.
Okay, some more people should have was supposed to join anyway. Um, so we shift to the next artwork. Rohan,
Yeah.
your favorite rabbit?
We'll go by sequence. What say? We'll do this one first. The lute player.
Lute player. Okay, okay, lute player. It's my favorite. Okay, I love this artwork. One second, I share this screen. It has a lot inside. One second.
There are 3 versions of the lute player. Which one are you sharing?
We will see. One second. Where have been that? Yes. Where is it? Just a second. I don't know. Where is that one? One second, I'm unable to find it. Just a second. And just didn't open it, is it? Yes. Now, also share. Ah, got it. Okay. It is visible.
Yes.
Okay.
The one without the flowers. This one. Okay.
Well, I mean, flower or not, there are a certain strange thing about the painting. Okay, it is by Caravaggio. Okay, now if we lute player was painted by Caravaggio. I mean, I just talk about what I perceive out of it in brief. So it was painted by Caravaggio. It's somewhere in 16th century, and it was during the Catholic counter Reformation days, when Christianity had taken a deep in moral and traditions. It was highly corrupted. The Christian world church was highly corrupted when Catholic. I mean, Martin Luther did did this Protestant Reformation, and then came Catholic Counter Reformation. So the church reformed itself and became very strict about what to show in a painting. It should be direct and compelling. There is no extravagance to be shown or truth to be shown. This was the period. Now, this was the period when Caravaggio was trying his luck as an artist, and he could paint well. He wanted to be an artist, and he was randomly painting this and that, and eventually two of his paintings were seen by, I mean, still trying to survive, if painting can strike a fortune for him. So two of his paintings were displayed in some what you call art dealer's shop, and there eventually a very important visitor landed one day. Some Cardinal Del Monte. He arrived. He ended up there and found those two artworks curious. Those were just random artworks of Caravaggio, which were depiction of the kind of lowly life, poor life he was living. If you see those artworks, those are more like modern day artworks, because they don't talk about any biblical theme, because they were honest. They were reflection of his life. So the cardinal liked them, and the cardinal loved painting and music and all that stuff. And he was powerful, rich. He was from the church. He was the top official of the church. So he said he bought those two paintings and asked, "Who is that artist?" So called that artist. The artist comes to his palace and said, and Cardinal said that, "Okay, Del Monte, that you begin to live here. Here you stay from today, and you are the painter of the house. You'll be doing the paintings for my palace, or for me, or for the church, for me, on my behalf." So that guy came. Caravaggio arrived. Now, interesting thing is, yes, Caravaggio did paint several very striking biblical themes, like doubting Thomas and all that, which are very shocking and sometimes ghastly chiaroscuro work. But these were other paintings which also stand mysteriously different, which are not biblical themes. This is one of them, Lute Player. Now, if you people are very familiar with this painting, then you will know. But if you are not, any one of you who don't know, is it a man or a woman? Well, it looks like a woman, right? A girl, tender, cute girl, teenage girl.
It looks like a woman. Yes, it's like a woman.
Right, looks like a woman. Reality is, this is a boy, not a girl. He painted a boy. Okay, very strange. Like, look at the fingers, the gesture, the kind of, I mean, everything resembles a girl, not a boy. And the boy, apparently, actually, a boy is playing this lute. And here on what is on the pages, the notes which are written before him, they supposedly read, I can't read them, but they supposedly read, "You know I love you." Okay. Now it's bit weird, actually. Weird this way. Now, this is not the only painting. You can see several of Caravaggio's paintings. Those days, after he was in the patronage of Cardinal Del Monte, living in his palace, several of such paintings he rolled out. Now, there is other painting where a party of the boys or something, where several boys are teenage boys or 17, 18-year-old boys seated together. I think I could show that also.
Playing cards?
Pardon? Playing cards, right. Playing cards. And it's kind of, the boys look little womanly, and they're not naked, nude, but then kind of extremely physical, like nestled into each other, like that. So the question comes here: was Caravaggio? From these paintings, actually, many historians inferred that Caravaggio was a homosexual. Now, it's very curious, but then it is probably not true, because there are proof. It's very old. I mean, Caravaggio's life is not very nicely documented. It's gathered from this part of history, that part of history, etc. It probably is not true because he had mistresses. That proof is there. So why did he paint these? This is the interesting part. Because definitely one thing is proven, that Del Monte, Cardinal Del Monte, his patron, was actually homosexual, not Caravaggio. And these were pin-up posters for his patron. So the here what I conclude is, artists throughout history, for past, say, let's say 4,000, 3,500 years, they actually did not, I mean, art did not go on through, did not survive through thousands of years, just because the artists were extremely passionate about what they were painting. It is not because the artists were, emotional, delirious men and women who forgot everything else in this world, just sincerely, honestly followed their emotions. No, not really. It survived because somebody could paint a mango like a mango, and they earned money out of it. If Caravaggio was not a homosexual and he painted a series like this as a pin-up poster for his patron, that means he was employing all his pure skill onto the canvas to satisfy the master, satisfy the buyer who was paying for it. It was not his emotion which was reflecting there, which may be reflecting elsewhere in some other paintings, but not in these. And large part of these are celebrated even this day. So, yeah, I mean, I conclude here about lute player, about whatever I had to say. So you guys can please add. Sindhu has joined. Can you unmute Sindhu and say something? I mean, okay, any of you, since he has just joined, she missed out the first one we discussed.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm sorry, I just completely missed the timing.
Yeah, in fact, we just ended up discussing something very interesting. It was about Venus of Willendorf. But now we are on Lute Player by Caravaggio. So, where is Rohan? So,
Yeah, I'm here.
I spoke about what I feel. I find it's very mysterious because Caravaggio was not a homosexual, but he painted pin-up posters for his patron. So, any of you can add your views on this.
Also, something interesting from Caravaggio's history is that he often had affairs with the models that posed for him.
Yes, but they were
and
women.
Yes, women models.
They were not men.
Yes. No, they were women.
Yeah,
I'm not saying they were men. So one of the models' husband or lover, challenged Caravaggio to a duel.
Yes.
And Caravaggio was very skilled with the sword.
Yeah.
So Caravaggio killed him, and he had to run off to Malta.
Right.
So in Malta, he was given the knighthood, and rest of his life he painted paintings in Malta before he got pardoned from Italy.
Yeah.
And what happened is he heard the news that he got pardoned, and at the same time he got caught by bounty hunters from Italy.
Yeah.
And those bounty hunters were taking him to Italy through a ship to collect their bounty. The ship crashed. Caravaggio ran away
Yeah.
and died at a remote place where he could not find water, and place was malaria infested.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
this is about the history. About the art, I think what he has changed in paintings that were prior to him is that uh, he's started depicting people from very close up. His canvases were huge, and
Yes.
there is not much distance between the subject and the painter, the viewer, so
I
to
think
say.
there is a reason, Rohan, behind it. The reason is, you see, for primarily, I can't pronounce this correctly. What is that called? Chiaroscuro.
Yeah.
They were doing this chiaroscuro. Na? Caravaggio was the epitome of it, actually. Now, chiaroscuro was is a play of contrast of light, very sharp contrast, darkness and light. Now, most of his paintings, he used to probably, I mean, these are probably, he used to do probably at night and at candlelight. And as a result, naturally, he has to do it very up close. He cannot paint a distant image. I mean, I don't think Caravaggio did any landscape or anything like that. Even biblical theme landscape, it doesn't exist. His paintings are all large images a large images up close and heavy chiaroscuro. So it had to be close. It had to be close-ups,
No,
even for the model.
okay. Chiaroscuro is that instrument which one looks through. Am I right?
Yeah, the style of painting where you have heavy contrast of light and shadow. That is that style is called chiaroscuro.
Okay. Be that as it may, it was revolutionary for the time.
Yeah.
That made him stand apart from other painters who were in the habit of painting full images and from a distance. Also, at that point of time, it was seen that painting is your ammunition to save people from Protestantism and Islam. Back in the day, especially in Malta, it became important because Malta on the one side had Catholic empires, and on the other side had Turkey and all those Islamic countries. So there was heavy competition to to bring people to a certain religion, and art became a huge facilitator of that to make people believe again. Hence, hence so much interest, particularly in Malta, in those in depiction of those biblical themes.
Yes, but this lute player is not a biblical painting.
No. Okay. Yeah, I was talking about him in general.
Generally, you're talking about yes.
Lute player, I think, was an early painting.
It says early painting when he was in the patronage of the cardinal, and he left that. Yes, of course. The period you are talking about is afterwards. Yes, later on. Yeah, I mean,
no,
I find it.
Also, I was that. Also, that explains the patronage of the church. Why it was so heavily invested in art. Because most of the paintings we see of the period, even though this one is not like biblical or, but
This is not biblical. Yeah.
But the patronage of artists and church in particular, being the largest patron of artists, can be explained. Hence the connection between Del Monte and Caravaggio can be explained.
Yes, but this is nothing unique, Rohan, because Western art, until I would say the Impressionists came into picture, it was purely dominated by church. It was the
Yes,
church who
yes.
was commissioning right from beginning. And
Yes,
interestingly, you will see this deviation suddenly at this Martin Luther time. There is a
Mhm.
deviation. Couple of artists came up at that point who did not do biblical paintings. Why? Because church closed its door for a while. Church was not allowed to commission, and that's when comes Hans Holbein. That's where comes Peter Bruegel, who painted things of the outside world other than the biblical things, the real world. But then again, that vanished when the Reformation and Counter Reformation happened, and church opened its door to the artists. So church was the main sponsor of. That's why it's all religious theme. You
Yes,
hardly
yes.
come across any theme in Western art until this Van Gogh
Romantics.
and
Until
until
romantics, I think.
yes, until then it is practically very boring unless you look into the subtle changes that kept happening over a period of time. The subtle changes are there, of course. Subtle changes are very much there. For instance, that we are talking about. Let us look at this. Something I was working on yesterday. Just a second. I want to show something. I don't know. Just a second. Just a second. Hmm. Of course, there are subtle changes also during the period, during the entire period, throughout the entire period. That is, you call it. Let us look at these two paintings. 1 second. Hmm. Just sorry. Just allow me a sec. I don't know. Okay, I shall share rather.
Also, the lute player is crying. He has tears in his eyes. So
Hmm.
it was in the day. It was that one has to the emotion has to be apparent from the painting. Tears were considered proof of sadness.
Yes, that's why it is called the Baroque period. It
Yeah.
see, that's why it perfectly fits in the Baroque period, because Baroque was over. It is a period defined by emotion, drama. You call it drama or melodrama. Emotion, drama, passion. All of this were extremely predominant in the expressions during this period. In fact, the Baroque word which was applied to this period of Caravaggio or Rubens comes from the meaning. The meaning was ghastly, grotesque. The meaning was grotesque. It was not in good spirit actually. Okay, what I'm trying to say here is, if you
This
look
is
at this, yeah, if you look at this painting, that is a famous one by Caravaggio, that is Doubting
Christ.
Thomas.
Yeah, Christ and the Doubting Thomas.
Christ and the Doubting Thomas. Now, let us not get into the detail of the background of it, the biblical story, but interesting part is this, that you see here, the way this guy, our Thomas, is poking the finger into the wound, right? The finger is going into the wound. It's horrific actually. It's painful, horrific, everything. And exactly 100 years ago, these are the subtle changes that happened. Because why it is like this? Because the clear directive of Catholic Church during Counter Reformation was, the paintings have to be direct and compelling. There cannot be any camouflaging with no softening down, or temper down the mood. Show the reality, show hard reality. Now,
Literally.
exactly 100 years ago, the same painting was painted like this. Look, this is also Doubting Thomas, but 100 years ago. It's so soft, tender, no violence, nothing. So these are the changes that happened with time. This is also interesting, but then at the end, the central theme had been only biblical stories for more than 1,000 years in Western art, nothing else. However, Okay, we have another member joining. Parlikar ji, would you say something? This is a discussion happening. So
Yeah.
it would be great if you people can also contribute. We are a little late. In fact, we to include you and Sindhu in the discussion. We started off with a very interesting sculpture. Actually, the 25,000-year-old sculpture
Yes.
which is named Venus of Willendorf.
Yeah.
Just going back a little, because I want to mention something very curious here. You missed out, you came later. So in that
Yeah.
sculpture, I'll just share, Radhika ji pointed out, I mean, me and Rohan had been talking about this and that about the sculpture, but Radhika ji found a very unique aspect of this sculpture, which shows up in it, even 25,000 years ago. Just a minute, just to show that sensational thing, I'd like to open this once again for you people. And you will find it interesting because both of you are women. I'll tell you something here. Yes, this was the sculpture,
Yes.
a very old one, 25,000 year old, and this is
Yes.
probably the oldest sculpture
Yes.
I've found in human history. You know that. Now,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
here we found Venus and the worship of fertility, women, and so
Yes.
on. Me and Rohan was talking about, but Radhika ji found a very strange thing which nobody
Yeah.
wrote anywhere. That is this: that the hands are kind of tight somewhere. Hands are not very free flowing. It's kind of tight.
Yeah.
So she observes that. Um, Even if it was 25,000 years ago, even if womanhood was being worshipped, even
Yes.
if all these things, the celebration of creation and all that happening, still, even 25,000 years ago, hands of women were tied.
You can say it is more like emphasis on the fertility, I
Yeah.
would say, because back then it was not the क्या कहते हैं समाज इतना it wasn't it was open. It was pretty open to do such sculptures also. They wanted to show the fertility. They want to enhance that part of it.
That's interesting. राधिका जी कहाँ गए? इनका ना म्यूट करके रखते हैं. राधिका जी आप बोलो कुछ.
No, it's okay. She has her viewpoint.
Yeah.
I just had my viewpoint, you know.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah, unless, see, I mean, this is the interesting part. I mean, these are things not written anywhere. You might have seen. I mean, I didn't know about this
The
sculpture.
second interesting part is there are no expressions, so we cannot understand what exactly the expression, what the expression the woman must have been into.
Exactly.
There's no face.
There is no face. So the expression has been taken off from this sculpture.
Yes.
Maybe deliberately, we don't know.
See, the trial, I would like to add, like, it's so relevant to today's time. The trials and the tribulations that a woman goes through,
Yeah.
they are always unmentioned and they're faceless. Now, when a painter sits and paints, it is his inner emotions that get depicted on the paint. At least that is what my current teacher, a renowned Indian painter, Ravi Paransvi, has told me. He always tells me, no matter, I will tell you to do whatever it is, I'll teach you my best. But what is in the inner sanctorium of your mind is what will finally come on the painting.
Yeah. That's very true.
Whoever this artist was, agreed, he loved women, all that was there, but he drew her faceless. Why? She was a second graded citizen of that time. Like I was told by Bakshi ji that, you know, more men have been painted. Why were always men given the supremacy? Even today they are given the supremacy. I am not a feminist. I accept things as they are because that's how life will go on. but this is just my observation. That's it.
Okay.
My two penny bit about it. So whatever he was innerly felt, but it's still a beautiful piece of work. How many
Yes,
people
definitely.
can sculpt of this kind? And that is why we have something to discuss.
Yes.
Exactly. And the only thing, coming to the second painting, I would only say that even in those bygone 16th century, painters were always ignored. They always needed somebody's help to be commercialized. It's the same thing today.
Mostly the kings and all that.
It's
Yes.
the same today.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody cannot become a surgeon. Everybody cannot join a profession that will bring in directly money into the homes. I know so many beautiful men artists today who don't get a wife because they don't have a regular source of income. So
True.
then if they become fond of other men, what is wrong in that? It's a question, right?
Yeah.
Because they are going to be accepted by their own beings, or vice versa, if they just find a partner who is a woman. So I mean, it is serious, like artists never get recognized, never.
At least till they are alive. The recognition comes after they're dead.
Well, unless and until you don't have a big band.
Yeah.
But mostly this is what happens. Most of the artists, after they die, they get recognition.
Mm, yes, here I have a view when you say this. Yeah, artists, so those who historically, those who earned money and got some fame and had their livelihood, earned their living.
Yeah.
These are not the people who changed the course of art. These are the people who followed the tradition, and
True.
history
Yeah.
doesn't remember them.
Right.
They
Commercial.
survived, but history does not remember them.
Right.
History
Right.
remembers those who perished actually in their lifetime.
Exactly.
Not all of them, but
So
many of
बुरा
them.
लगता है actually. Why an artist should not get livelihood when he is alive? जब वो जिंदा है उनको क्यों नहीं मिलता?
But it is not all the time true, na, Parlikar ji. आप पिकासो देखिए या you take Ramkinkar, or even in Indian context, there have been artists who did it, who found some recognition, but hardly few. They
Very
are
few. It is very few.
It's a flash in the pan because it's very simple. Like, for instance, you see, I mean, forget about art. If you look at products, if you look in the business world, if you look at products, you will find the largest of the brands we celebrate today, the person who got that product first in the market or invented the product, found the product, it flopped actually. If you take Coca-Cola, which is the largest brand, the person who came up with the idea of that particular chemical concoction, he couldn't. He remained a chemist, nothing more, supplier to a chemist. Then he sold it to somebody else. That guy too did not succeed.
So creating art is like planting a mango tree. Your grandfather plants it, and the fruits will go to the grandchildren.
It takes time, and this is
Sometimes-
where it is, no. I mean, the artist who is actually driven by true passion and emotion, he or she actually cannot stop doing it. He or she may want, because he or she may feel that I can earn my bread and better living if I probably do something else. But then उसके औकात के बाहर है, उसको करना ही पड़ेगा जो कर रहा है. That's why they keep doing it. रोहन, कल्चर हुए तो कुछ बता सकते हो आप भी.
हाँ, तो नहीं, आपका डिस्कशन चल रहा है, मैं सुन रहा हूँ.
हाँ,
आप, हाँ, हम ही बात कर रहे थे काफी देर, तो
I will introduce a little bit to Sindhu is saying nothing. Parlikar ji, Radhika ji, Rohan is actually by profession a lawyer, and he is desperate to take up painting as a full-time vocation. I told him not to try that immediately, but he probably will end up doing it. I don't know what will happen to him.
So, we do not publicly say that. We do not publicly say that.
Okay, so I think loot player बहुत देर तक हो गया. We shift to the next one. अरे rabbit ले लो. That is the interesting one. We have
No,
another
sequence.
another artwork to discuss. Rabbit.
No, Guernica. First Guernica. then
Guernica.
Rabbit.
Okay, you start Guernica. In my feeling, it is the most boring artwork I have ever come across. Anyway, chalu karo.
Okay.
I don't like Guernica. Yeah.
I don't have. I can't do screen share because I'm on. My
Okay,
phone.
I will share. Just a second. I'll share. One second.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Rohan. Yeah.
Yeah, so this painting is one of the best known works of 20th century art. Now, the background to the painting is that this was painted at the time of Second World War. Okay, there is a Spanish town by the name of Guernica, and there was a Spanish civil war going on, and Hitler sided with the General Franco from the Spanish Civil War. And Franco wanted to teach the town of Guernica, which held out from the conservatives, the Spanish conservatives. So he ordered he ordered the planes to bomb them in afternoon, so that maximum civilian casualties will be there. And now this the interesting part is how this comes to Picasso. Picasso was asked to make a painting for collecting funds for the other side in the Spanish Civil War, and this painting was commissioned. So Picasso, although this is the bombing happened in the afternoon, Picasso makes this a black and white painting as if it is happening at the night time. I can hear some sound. Can you? Yeah. So it appears as if this happened at the night time. At the same time, the images of Guernica were Picasso came across the images of the massacre at Guernica through newspaper. Hence, this painting is in black and white. Now, he has used some classical tools in the construction of the painting. Like you can see a triangle in the middle, a triangle of light in the middle to balance the composition. And
Yes.
The bull and the horse are continued themes in Picasso's paintings. Also, he has taken inspiration from other classical paintings of the woman holding a dead baby in her hands, and he has taken inspiration from Goya's painting, where there is a man standing with his arms stretched.
Yes, right.
Also,
There is acute
the
similarity. You are right. I didn't notice it before.
Yeah.
Yes, the right
Yeah,
one,
also
right?
there is there is a stigmata on Goya's subject, and there is a stigmata on this subject's hand also. So stigmata is that star, in blood. Also, the light bearer. The light bearer has mythological connotations, wherein she comes in to save the weak, protector of the weak, as it were. And so
Yeah, he's put intense emotions also in that. And that's such very different.
yes. Why do you find this boring, Saikat?
I withdraw. I tell you why. Just give me a second. আমি আপনাকে 10 মিনিট পরে কল করি আমি আপনাকে 10 মিনিট পরে কল করব। Yeah. See, I didn't like one thing about this. Yeah, yeah. I mean, hey, as you explained, I mean, I didn't go to such depth, Rohan. I mean, as you explained bit by bit every section of it, it looks very curious and interesting. But somewhere I didn't find it interesting because of the fact that Picasso was commissioned this work way before the war. It was supposed to be be displayed in the Spanish pavilion in some exhibition, some European exhibition or
Paris,
something, right?
Paris
Paris
exhibition
convention
in
or
Paris.
something. Huh.
Paris convention
Correct. But that is before the war, before the bombing.
before
And
the bombing.
after the
yeah.
bombing, he was actually hunting for what to paint over there for a
Yeah,
long time,
yeah.
and then the bombing happens, and he picks up the topic and paints it. This is where somewhere little bit I find that it's not as if so sincerely, naturally coming to him like his early days cubist paintings. It was as if little motivated for a purpose which happened later after he decided to do the painting, which topic to pick up. This is the reason but of course this became very famous because this served a lot of political purpose. That is the reason, nothing else. I mean, yeah, as you explained, I find, yes, I missed this point or I have not looked deep into it. Yeah. Like, for instance, our this Janagana Mana, that song, it was supposedly written for the Queen, and fraction of it later was taken for another purpose, right? So
I
it's
don't
speaking
know.
that.
No, be that as it may. I mean, it has real merit in what it depicts, you know. Or so I feel. Yeah, this is a discussion, guys.
Yeah. Yes, please. Others also can say something.
Can I say something?
Yes, you are welcome to say, and you are not saying anything.
No, I'm not with that much knowledge as you guys, because I never read on to all this artwork, and I don't try to study this or perceive my own story. What I'm more interested is always to know what the artist must have thought of while doing this. So I wish there was all a document or something which they write about it. So what I did is I started writing. After every painting I finish, I started writing a story on it, like what I felt while doing this, what I went through while doing this, what changes of emotions I went through, what colors I felt was right, and then I redid it, corrected it. So everything, like, it must be of no interest to others, but still I documented. So at some point of time, as you always saying that, paintings always get famous after they are no more, the artist is no more. So in that scenario, at least somebody will have a document of what went through the artist while they were doing it. So everybody has their own perception to analyze a painting. And everybody can come up with a theory, a different theory, in fact. So so the curiosity, the suspense is always what the artist went through while he was doing this. So I was more, I mean, I'm always keen to know that.
Yeah.
But it's fun to hear you guys discussing about each painting.
Yeah. Regarding this painting, Rohan, somebody said something. You want to say something? Anyone else? No.
No, you can go ahead.
Okay. No, regarding this painting, this particular one, I have a feeling, not that I understand Cubism hell of a lot, ऐसा नहीं है. But still, somewhere this is also interesting, maybe because the early when the paintings which Picasso did at the thick of the Cubist period, it was his baby and Braque's baby. But during that period, the kind of paintings he did, you will see those are truly carrying the spirit, in the sense, the fundamental idea, if I'm correct, if I understood correctly, to show any object from all dimensions. Like, for instance, a face, you see my front view, but you don't see the profile, you don't see the back of my head. And Cubism was putting up everything on a single dimension.
Mhm.
So as if their point was, I mean, Picasso's point was this, or Braque's point was this: the earlier artists, they actually fooled the viewer by making things disappear rather
Mm.
than making things appear. So it's an
Mhm.
illusion they created. So they wanted to show everything on the same page, like back of the head also on the same page. Whatever is not visible, hidden behind, also will come on the same page. So that was kind of and then a rearrangement of the whole thing. That was Cubism, if I understand. But here, if we see, it is not that really. It's kind of Cubism heavily simplified. And it was painted actually by Picasso at a much later stage. And
Mhm.
strangely, if you observe, during that period, he basically went back to the classical ways. If you see some other painting of Picasso painted at that point of time, I was seeing a book, okay, some time ago. That was just a man like a man. There is a painting, Lovers or something, of Picasso. Just a second. Let me see if I can find it. It was painted when he was actually rewinding the whole thing. Lovers painting, yes. Just a sec, if I can open it. So I say this is little interesting because it was not classic Picasso cubist artwork in my view. If I can, I think I found.
No,
Yes, I found it.
Picasso
I,
had many periods. Even in Cubism, he had periods. Prior to Cubism, there is the Rose period, the Blue period,
yes. हाँ, अभी
etc.
इस
And
इसमें
in Cubism also there is synthetic Cubism. Then there are other. I don't know which one this is, but
no, this is at a later date. It is not. Just a minute. I'm trying to open it. I don't know why it's not opening. Just a minute. Yes. How to open? Yes. I share. You see this one. If you can see this now. Can you see this?
yeah.
It's strange, right? When he painted it, it is after, I think it is around the time of Guernica.
Okay.
And it is a painting by Picasso. Can you believe? And it is a painting by Picasso when he had been through his entire Cubist phase, not before. The phases you
Okay.
are talking about is Blue period, Rose period. Those are realistic paintings, almost realistic,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? With a hell of an effect of
Expressionist.
expressionist
Expressionist.
paintings, with a lot of effect of Cezanne and Goga, everyone. But then there was a radical shift, which was Cubist, when everything merges and the whole thing goes different. When they said that planes and lines should speak on their own, not the objects outside. They should have their own lives. This is where the complete, like, modern art. But then he rewinded back to the earlier way of painting at some stage. And why I pointed this out is Guernica also looks like that it is a deviation of his own classical cubism. It is not really the cubism he he did for such a long time.
No, but look at Maria Therese Walter's portrait. In that also, he has not painted the object from every angle possible.
When was it?
I think it's difficult to say. It's difficult to say really. Marie-Therese Walters, then the musicians. In that also, it's not painted from every
Yeah,
angle.
musician was earlier. I mean, what I'm saying is it was more like Picasso said a very beautiful thing. Picasso said that every child is an artist,
Yeah.
but the challenge is remaining an artist while growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So he seems to have gone back to his simplicity as he
Yeah.
aged. I mean, it's like the karateka. When you learn karate first, you have a white belt. You know nothing, and then slowly you reach black belt, and then beyond that, the final level, when you reach, your belt is again white, back to the square one. So you start when you actually don't know, and you end when you know that you don't know.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, we shall we shift to the last one? Okay, I show rabbit.
Yeah.
There is the last one. Okay, I open. Yeah, is it visible?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rohan, you wanted to.
So now this is going to be my opinion. Opinion.
Explain first. It's a very old, very new one.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, this is a steel sculpture, and it's made in the year 1986 by Jeff Koons. There are 4 copies of it. 3 copies of it, including this one. There are 4, and they have sold at various prices. Now the highest price one of these got was $91 or $92 million. Now I personally John Berger he says about this work that the American decadence cannot be explained without this sculpture. Okay, so he takes a slightly negative view of the sculpture. The sculpture is I think there is a lot of underlying cultural connotations to do with the sculpture. Rabbits, in particular, they breed a lot, so there are those sexual connotations that in that period of time were present culturally in other forms of art, like popular cinema, popular TV series, etc., etc. And here the artist's view is that not everybody can afford his art, so it's like an art, and at the same time it is a luxury object. It's a luxury object. So personally, I feel that there's this American author called Frederick Jameson. He is deep into art theory. So he says about postmodern art that there is nothing to be felt. The intellectualism of it, or the show of it, the glitter of it, is the only thing that you get from it. There's no deep reading possible. So I see this work in one of those, in that category of things, personally.
I disagree with you. Even whoever said that it has nothing but just a shine and all that. So there are, I can just show you right now. I mean, no, I don't agree with it. Just a second. If you say that, then this one sold at 19 point, how much? 90.1 million
91,
dollar.
91.
I bought this. I bought this from at home at some 400 rupees. Why? The same thing. There is some difference
So
between the two.
I can't see it. I can't see it.
Yeah, I'll show you. I'll show you. No, I really beg to disagree. That's why I said it. You see this? I bought this at 400 rupees. It should be $20.1 million. Why not? What is the difference between
No.
this and the rabbit?
I'm not.
There is a
Yeah,
difference between this and the rabbit.
I mean, there is cultural connotations embedded in the rabbit, but I don't place much significance on those cultural connotations that there be.
I would put it this way. I see it very differently. In my opinion, there is something curious in it, and that curious aspect of the rabbit is not new. This aspect is going on since probably 100 years now, close to 100 years, since my pronunciation of the names are not good. Marcel Duchamp or Duchamp, whatever you call. Since Marcel Duchamp came up with that porcelain urinal. Since that day, right from that day.
It was art at that time. It was art.
Yeah, it is the same thing. Even today's banana with duct tape is also the same. I tell you, I tell you what I feel.
It's a derivative.
It is a smark. This rabbit
derivative
is a smark.
Of that.
Okay. Yeah, it's a smark. It's a sarcasm, or I would say a heavy criticism on the way of life, not only probably in America, but it is all over the world. How even in our country, the same thing. What is that? The thing is, if we look at it, it is a rabbit. So in general, what we feel about a rabbit, it's a cute animal, it's a loving animal, it's soft. Rabbit could be a soft toy, right? Made up of cotton or things like that. Very cuddly, tender. That is the feeling a rabbit invokes, or in the mention of a rabbit invokes. When we look at a rabbit, we feel that. But a rabbit made up of steel, shining steel, like a shining sword, it is a discord. It's a direct discord with what it is and its outer veneer, outer facade. The way it is clothed. It's clothed by hard, shining steel. Now, this discord is the point. This discord is the point in this way that, and what happens is, it's so shining like a mirror that when everyone looks at it, people gather around it, it reflects everyone on it. So they actually look at themselves. So it reflects the society. The society today is, people are something and they show something else entirely. What they show, the attires, the image, the cover they carry around them to show the society, to show others, is very different than what they are inside. And this very irony, this very discord, this fallacy of today's society is hiding the reality inside and showing something else, the glow, the glossy, the shine. That means the show of wealth and prosperity and so on, the showmanship, that takes away the focus, and internally something else. And who are these people? So when somebody looks at the rabbit, looks at himself or herself, you are the person, you are like that. So it directly conveys the message, see, you are the rabbit. Because when you look at the rabbit, you see yourself. It's like a mirror. So you are the rabbit. You are the one who is practically a hypocrite, carrying around a mask which you are not. You are different. And then it, if you look at, there is a carrot also in the rabbit's hand, and the carrot looks like a weapon. It's like a lethal weapon. It will kill with the parrot, a carrot. So it's like, take the carrot and you are done for. Take it and you are done for. It's a weapon. It's not a carrot. So now I
Okay,
find a bigger irony in the whole thing. There is a bigger irony that if Jeff Koons made it with this message to pass on, society has such an ability that the same society turned the table around and made it a product which sold at 90.2 million dollar. And today, Rabbit is known for its shine and glow, which is what? $90.2 million. Nobody cares a damn about this guy who said there is nothing in it. It's just you feel and all that. So he reduced it to that. What is it?
See,
two things.
Firstly, okay,
$90.2 million.
Firstly, I will defend the guy. Firstly, yeah. Firstly, this has nothing to do with Marcel Duchamp. One, because it's a sculpture. Okay, the tradition of sculpture is much older. It is not a ready-made object. It is not strictly conceptual. Okay. Secondly,
it's not.
I think
Rohan, it is not the question of ism or way. I mean, ism or style. It is the question of the message being passed on in some way.
No. Okay, let me
convey a message. This guy can convey a message. That is the point.
Okay. Let me. Then everybody conveyed a message. No.
Yeah, absolutely, everybody. That is what art today. Passing on a message is art today.
So
it's not ism. Is not art.
So there's no necessity, so to say, to go back to Duchamp. I think you can go back to the pop art to see. Go to pop art to see the cultural connotations more clearly in this. Okay. Secondly, a reflective surface. I think a reflective surface saying that is you is. I don't think that is a very significant thing. I don't think that is a very that requires much imagination to connect the two. And I think this the tendency of Koons to blow things up. You blow things up once. He's done the dog. You know the dog. The dog that looks like a blown dog made out of balloon. So you make it once. You show to the people that objects blown up look sublime, give a different experience. You can do it once. You do it every time. I don't think it has the same impact. And lastly, if we are talking about soft things made in hard material, I think that has throughout been the thing with sculpture. Any sculpture you see, like Bernini's goat you see, or anything you see.
No, that is, of course, any sculpture. Even David is made up of marble. But David is made up of marble in such a way you don't feel that you are looking at a hard object. But Rabbit is made up in such a way that it is made up of a hard object, but it looks like a rabbit.
It looks like a blown up balloon.
What, rabbit?
Blown up. Yeah. It looks like a balloon blown up.
But it is made of steel. How can it look like a balloon?
It is made up of steel. Now you look at the dog also. Have you seen his dog? Koons' dog.
Dog is different, I'm talking
about the form of it.
Yeah.
Now, I like, if I were to compare this with films, I would say this is the Wolf of Wall Street kind.
How?
You know what I mean?
How Wolf of Wall Street relates to
it? It is just a show of wealth. It is just a show of grandeur.
Right.
And it is reducible to that. it becomes reducible. It becomes reducible. I don't see any significant depth in the rabbit. At least I don't see it, like, even now.
Then why do you think it captured such fancy?
Who knows? I mean,
Who knows? I don't think.
now
Who knows?
see, you
There must be
began
some reason. So
you
what
you
would
began
be
the
the reason,
session.
you think?
You began the session with saying that because it sells at a very high value, it does not mean it is a very important cultural
Yes,
object.
true. Yes, I do agree. Of course, I only said, but here
And
also there are always some reason. That's what I. So what I
and
mean is, you
secondly,
didn't get my
nobody.
point. You didn't get my point.
Secondly, more people discuss the marketing of Koons and Damien Hirst than they discuss their art. So you know what I mean.
Yes, but I fully agree with you. The quality of artwork is one question, and the price at which it sells is another question. But they may not be connected. But the reason the price goes up of an artwork, there is always there is a sensational reason behind it, which is connected to the art. The artwork may not be good, but it is connected to the artwork. For instance, this banana with duct tape. It's the same story. I mean, what is there in a banana? You stick to the wall and put a duct tape around it, and you call it artwork. Okay, but it also sold. I mean, it is even cheaper, right? Making it was cheaper. They're just changing the banana every alternate day before it rots. It sold at $120,000 or something.
Yeah.
Now it is also a
120,000.
mockery. Pardon?
120,000.
120,000. It is also a mockery, stark mockery on.
Yeah.
It's like showing a banana to all those bogus artworks being displayed in the galleries for no reason, getting sold. It is a mockery on that, and that mockery gathers momentum, and then it sells at a high price. Something like that happens. So that's what I'm saying, that in this rabbit also there must be some reason. I mean, of course, I mean, if there is any novelty, I believe the novelty which I said, that this is also a mocker, also a criticism to the shine of the world, the discord between what we see and what is inside. But then that I mean, if it is none of it, if there is nothing, it is just, I mean, he could have as well made a ball of steel, or I don't know, some watch or something, or a spoon or something he could have kept, which is made of steel. It could have sold at that price. Something must be there. I don't know. Disease or some other reason.
I mean, okay. I mean, I can't argue, like, how. Never mind. Let's somebody else also weigh in.
Yeah. Because rabbit is a very big topic. I know it's a curious thing. Any of you have got anything to say, please, regarding rabbit? No, nobody is saying.
Radhika ji.
Radhika ji seems to be a very strong person who has taken the second dose of vaccine, and I can see she is continuously working.
Mm-hmm. And okay, so
Okay.
Saikat, since nobody's speaking, see, Saikat, if
Yeah.
we want to talk about art and if we bring market into it, okay, then I don't. I think
Radhika ji would say something. It looks like she's unmuted.
Okay, all I wanted to just compliment both of you, Mr. Bakshi as well as Rohan, the insight that you have given into all the paintings. It's really, I like the historical perspective that both of you, I mean, Rohan ji especially is really deeply involved in knowing the history and the progression of a painting. which is amazing. And that does tell a lot that why he is an advocate, because that needs hours and hours of learning. So the reason could be that he has a really good band of people who are supporting him, that he can spend hours in reading and get himself updated, which is magnanimously grand, because people like us wouldn't get an opportunity to hear what he's saying. And you, Mr. Bakshi, as an art connoisseur, has the artistic perspective also, which we were not aware. So it's perfectly all right that we don't give our two penny bit in it, because the discussion, the pros and the cons of on the rabbit, both of you were perfectly correct in your own way.
Yeah.
You were really very, very right. Yes. And art gathers momentum and value only when there is somebody to, support it. And, whether there are entrepreneurs who suddenly takes a liking, especially if one who has got very deep pockets. Well, of course, he just has to put in one word and something just simple as a rabbit. And the second part of it is that why the rabbit was made, there must have been some engineering gone into it to make the sculpture. It's not just making a spoon which has just got one hollow part and one the handle to it. So that's why I said kudos to both of you.
Yeah.
Please have some topics like these, because even if we don't contribute, it's okay. It's really very, very, I have to thank both of you. Please
Yes.
see to that one is there along with the other as a pair. So we get the social aspect of it, we get the history and the artistic perspective too.
Thank you. We
Yeah,
shall
because I see you both were divergent on the painting, that you liked one painting of Picasso and he
Yeah.
didn't like it. But then he brought out, the stars and then why the woman, right?
Yeah.
Then I saw the hand which had the, the astrological point of view,
Yeah.
the,
Yeah.
the depth of the hand, that the way it was drawn.
Yeah.
And every artist needs a motivation. I agree. You have a viewpoint to say that you were not impressed because he picked on what was seasonally needed to be depicted to people at that time.
Yeah.
But if he hadn't drawn it, we wouldn't even have been able to see this creation of his.
Yes.
And in contrast, you showed such pleasant paintings that were done by him.
Yes.
So that shows the beauty that man really loved peace in some form, but he was an artist in very torn times. And as an artist, he performed very well.
Yeah.
I was saying so. So please continue the discussion. I will always be the listener henceforth.
Okay. Thank you. We shall have actually. This time we had very few of you. We didn't reach out to people either. But here, unlike a webinar, in this kind of sessions, we want to explore on our own. Various artworks, and you people also can suggest. We shall have it probably every 10 days or something. Which artwork we need to want to discuss about. This time me and Rohan picked certain stuff on our own. So we would rather prefer that people tell us that, okay, we would like to discuss about this artwork in the next week and following, and like.
And I would also tell Rohan, please, he can always be an artist, but he should not give up his profession as an advocate. Because I come from a family of lawyers, and we need honest lawyers in this world, and we will lose somebody good or somebody learned as you are if you just focus full time on art.
Yes, yes.
Good one.
So I'm inspired by Sudhir Patwardhan. Do you know Sudhir Patwardhan?
From Pune, no?
From Thane.
From Thane. Okay, he's a doctor,
yes.
no?
Yes, he's a doctor and he's a brilliant painter. And he's a practicing doctor.
Sudhir Patwardhan has already made his money. Okay. Now, buying art material, to be very, very specific, is expensive.
Yeah.
Okay, unless and until one has not already made the money, nobody will venture into art, or unless and until there is somebody who's supporting to buy them their art material. Let me put it,
Totally.
I'm very, very brusque and blunt about it.
Yes, yes.
Sable hair brushes are not available. We have to buy it in the quiet. In the hog hair brushes are available, but they are not true hog hair brushes. So then we have to go behind the store, unknown by unseen eyes to, things like that, So, आप दोनों जन आप जो भी कर रहे करते रहो, but please give us these wonderful discussions. Wonderful, wonderful discussions,
Thank you.
Can I take your leave, please? Because
Yes, please go.
I just need to take my afternoon dose of Dolo.
Yes,
At
carry on,
12
carry on.
o'clock.
I know
Yes.
how terrible it is. Yeah, please
No, it
go
is
ahead.
not terrible. No, please
No?
let me move. Absolutely, it's not terrible. It's just
Okay.
fine. It's just, see, if you have a mental control, nothing will happen.
No, the first dose did me in. I mean, I was completely bedridden for 1.5 days, but after that, I don't know, I'm very fresh actually. From the third day onwards, I
Yeah.
just took the first dose few
I
days
was
ago.
just feeling lethargic yesterday.
Okay.
So, but I think today I have just managed to just remain strong. I made up my mind
Yeah.
that it's nothing's going to happen to me because I didn't want to miss this talk. So, and after this, then I have another set of studies to do. So I can't afford to fall sick or take the day off, even if it's a Sunday,
Yeah.
because somebody
Please go ahead. Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
you continue. I'll listen
Yeah.
on as long as you all are talking, and then
Yes,
I'll,
yes, yes, yes.
And thank you for all the participants. Fantastic.
Thank you so much, Radhika ji.
Yeah.
So, Saikat, what I was saying is,
Yeah.
if you see, bringing the market into the discussion is an unfair thing to do, from my standpoint, because you bring in and market determined value of an artwork, then our discussion must begin from art as investment, marketing, then
It is not that. It is not a question of how much return it gave to whom, etc. It is not that's not the point, Rohan. The point is, see, we don't come to know. There may be better. I mean, much ravishingly good, much better, great artworks being made. It's there and disappeared off the face of the earth. We don't come to know, but
Yeah.
eventually, this is the one. This is one we know. We know Jeff Koons. We know that Catalan guy who made that banana with duct tape, or many others for that matter, or Andy Warhol's that Campbell soup, etc. Since we know this, we can dig out what made it draw the attention, what enabled it draw attention. That now, if we say this is very unfortunate thing, if we conclude, oh, there is nothing, it's just anything. I mean, it's just a lump of steel. There is nothing really in modern art. I mean, it's just that. Then the whole affair of art goes up in smoke. It can't be that. Definitely, it is not that. There is something. It may not be as great or anything, but there is something. Why
I
we
agree. I agree. The
undermine that?
cultural. I agree with the cultural context in which it was made. I'm not saying there is nothing in it. I'm not saying there is nothing in it. I'm only saying it is not so great art that it is projected.
That is no contest on that. That's what I said. There may be much better ones. There may be great stuff, and they will be lost. Who knows where they will be? Unless we come to know, we can't discuss about them. This is the point, and this is where the hunt goes on. This is where you see. I mean, you are again drawing me into a discussion. We have to finish it now. We have been dragging too long. The thing is, when Picasso and Matisse were painting very out of the box stuff for so many years in Paris, Montmartre, then what happens? These two brother sister arrives, Leo Stein and Gertrude Stein. They had
Yeah.
little bit money, not a lot of money. They were Jew. They were outsider of French society, and they didn't know what to do with it. And they decided first to be an artist. नहीं वो भी नहीं हो रहा है, आर्टिस्ट बन नहीं पाएंगे, पैसा थोड़ा बहुत है, अभी क्या करे, तो चलो डीलर बन जाता है. अभी डीलर बनना है तो पुराना आर्टिस्ट जो है उसका पेंटिंग खरीदने का पैसा नहीं है, दे डोंट हैव सो मच मनी, तो किसका खरीद सकता है. इन दैट slums of Montmartre there are some mad lunatics painting, उसी का ले लेते हैं. Abhi, now this is interesting part, how Picasso and Matisse's paintings come to the surface and becomes famous. But unless such strange things happen, now this is the other part, that there should be a way, some people should be hunting for real artists somewhere. Real artists, something which will shatter the world, which will change the world tomorrow. So
you are doing that. You are doing that already.
I wish to. I wish to. Yeah. Acha, okay, we dragged too long. It's now 1:19. Let us close it. And
Okay, just 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes. Just 2
Yes.
minutes. What do you want to discuss next week?
Yeah, here I would let us invite suggestion from our from people, that which artworks, as you said, I mean, let people suggest that these are the artworks.
Yes.
We can discuss next week, or maybe 10 days down the line, or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, great. Bye.
Thank you. And I would think that you all can both go ahead and suggest, decide, and just post the meeting.
Okay, we shall also suggest. Yeah, then we choose. Of course, we shall.
Why? Because the paintings that you discussed today, we had not seen them or heard about them or known about the background on how they came about to be, and the controversy that they have been, or the status that they have acquired. So I think
Yes.
when there are already two experts, at least I will desist from giving any opinion as to what should be discussed,
I agree. Because
Great.
even for me also, I was, it was new to me, and I was parallelly reading on Google about these artwork as they were saying. So I think you two can come up with a new painting, and we can discuss, or we can just listen.
Okay, no, we'll fix up earlier so that all of us have some more time. At least what happens is, if we have some idea in advance, it will be interesting for all of us, actually, because art is so much context specific that it's like poetry. You just pick up one sentence out of a poetry, or even pick up a poem of a poet, and it makes no sense unless we know in which situation, what is the background that this was created. So okay, we'll fix up something. You also put in your suggestions, and then yeah, probably we meet next week again. If next week may not be exactly 7 days, let us see, and we discuss something more interesting, some more scandalizing artworks in history.
Exactly, correct. Right. इसमें तो मजा है.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Bye bye.
Okay. One thing I just like to mention here. We you may be aware that kind of Romantica is my baby. I mean, it was my brainchild, and few of us, Partho is in this. He is also here. We are few people. We run it. Now we also have announced a webinar on 2nd May. Yes, webinar on a very interesting topic. The webinar is on role of a muse for a creative soul. So just I'm keeping you informed. In case if you would be interested, you can join the webinar. Okay.
Okay. All
I
right.
will.
I request all of you to
Thank
join
you.
that. Yes. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.